go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Lunch with the Finance Bunch. I'm Charline.
And this is Guys Give Matthew. Hello, everybody.
And we have in our studio today, we have Serria Rego. I just have to say this before I introduce you. This has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
We have been trying to get together for a little while now. We're so happy you're here.
Thank you. I'm
Super
happy
excited.
you invited me.
And we
Thank
absolutely
you.
love the dress that Serria is wearing today. She's
Yes.
wearing this orange fly dress. She's popping, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank
She sure
you.
is. She came to see us today.
I like to look good.
Okay?
Summertime ready, y'all.
Exactly. I told her she looks like an Egyptian princess or something.
Yeah. I'm always overdressed. It's like my curse and my trademark.
No, that's good. It's better to be overdressed than underdressed, I say. Now, Serria, we talked on the phone, and I said, you know, this is the first time on the show, and I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself. And you said, girl, I don't want to be bothered with that. I want to get straight to it.
Yeah.
So since you don't want to talk about you, I'm going to talk about
Okay,
you.
good.
Okay?
Jump right in, Shaw.
Exactly. So Serria is from Chicago, Illinois, a graduate of Bradley University with a degree in finance.
Yep.
Serria believes financial education is the foundation of any good advisor. Her introduction to the financial industry came at the age of 18 when she worked as a cold caller for a stockbroker in Washington, D.C. I've done that. Once she graduated, her employers include TD Ameritrade, Edward Jones, and Waddell & Reed. Sierra's practice was built on educational workshops to a San Fernando Bar Association, Minority Business Opportunity Council, Small Business Administration, and utilizes membership in Lake Tip of Brentwood and Provisors.
Yeah.
Occasionally, she also writes for publications about the importance of planning. Currently, her clients include attorneys, A-list celebrities, business owners, and many more.
You
Yeah.
have
So
done
I wanted to
quite
say
a lot
that
in a
she
short
had-
amount
That
of
was
time.
a lot.
That's a lot, right? So I just wanted everyone to know who we have in the chair today. And so we decided we're going to talk about women planning their finance. Women are so successful in business that we wanted them to be equally successul in planning their financial future. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How's that?
Really? Because I want to talk
yeah.
about men and money.
I was going to say, don't leave me out.
Okay, we're going to talk about men and money then. Let's go.
I don't want to be in the hot seat, though.
Which you won't be in the hot seat. But the reality is, the other side of my background is because I was like from academia. And then I was a model for like 7 years. I got to see these totally different worlds. I got to see like, you know, the smart girls and then a different type of smart girl.
Right.
Right. And I was just like, whoa, these are so different. And I'm always such an observer that I ended up creating a dating blog because I wanted those worlds to merge. I wanted some of the smart girls to have the tricks of the models to use. And from that, I started really just keeping my eyes open about the way that relationships happen.
Yes.
And then from my finance background, I just started looking at money and men.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And
let's talk
what's
about
happening.
that.
Cha-ching,
What's happening with money and men?
So it's just, you know what? It's just, the world is so interesting right now because I find that we're in this place where we think we have like a choice. I almost think like we're almost like little kids, especially in this digital age where we're like licking the cupcake, licking the frosting off the cupcake all the time.
And I love frosting, too,
You
by the
know.
way.
Like, it's like we're not like really looking at like the importance of anything. We always just want to do what we want to do.
Right.
You know, and I think there's such a danger to that because a lot of times I'll tell someone, especially women, for whatever reason, historically, we think we can opt out of this money-making conversation.
Exactly.
You know, and I'm like, well, you need to learn about something that has to do with your money. And they're like, well, I'm just not passionate about that. That's not what my interest is.
But you should be passionate about your future.
Yeah,
and what
the
type of legacy
security
that
of
you're
you and
leaving.
your family.
But to me, when you say something like that, it's like you're not passionate about oxygen.
Right.
Like, you don't have to be passionate about it. It's happening with or without your consent.
Exactly.
That's right.
Like one way or the other. It's like, I'm not passionate about aging. If you're living, You know,
Exactly.
you're going to
right.
age. I'm not passionate about it. Doesn't like, I don't know. I feel so frustrated sometimes because people feel like they get to opt out of this conversation.
Yes.
And it just kills me. And then it's also like, you know, there's like a pretty girl exemption too. Like if you're pretty,
Absolutely.
you get to really opt out of it.
Absolutely.
You know, like, oh, well, someone else would take care of it.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yes.
and historically, I just started looking at it. I'm like, okay, so real talk, women been getting married since the beginning of time, right?
right.
Like recently, I think Black women are not getting as married as much as most of the other ethnic groups, but
Right.
we've been getting married since the beginning of time. But yet, women are dying at a poverty level of 2 to 1 of men.
That's right.
So
It's getting real
We
out
live
here.
longer.
I'm just saying. So it's like you're not getting taken care of. I don't know what you're thinking.
Absolutely.
Right. That's right.
Ain't nobody
That's
taking
right.
care of you.
Yeah, men have made an adjustment.
That's
So
right.
that's like the thing now. It's like nobody's taking care of you. So you need to take care of yourself. And then when we start adding men to the mix, it just gets
More complicated.
and more comical for me.
Okay.
Because, like, I remember, so I'm involved with the organization Single Moms Planet with Nefertiri, who
Yes,
was on the
that's
show,
right.
because I was raised by a single mom. And my mom knew nothing about money. And that's the reason why I wanted to get into the world of money. And I have girlfriends who are single. That's just life. I have single moms who are girlfriends.
That's right.
And I remember one of my girlfriends, I'm like, well, we should really sit down and start thinking about your future. And she goes, oh, no. Well, my family will take care of my kid if I die because I would do it for them. I was like, no, that's great. And what about that money, though?
Right.
And she's like, well, I would do it for them. I was like, you are such a little dang. You're trying to not set nobody up. You like you're
Right.
purposely trying to not set anybody up. You're
Right.
just
Right,
like,
which is putting the burden on your family
Yeah,
just in case if
exactly.
something happens.
yeah, and she was serious. And then I said, well, we should really sit down and talk about your situation. He goes, oh, well, things with my boyfriend are getting really serious, so I think we should wait until he could sit in on that. So I'm like, so now you're trying to recruit a boyfriend so he can tell you what to do with your money and your kid that's not even his kid?
Right.
And then there was silence.
And then if he walks away from the situation or it doesn't work out, God forbid, then you have to press the restart button and now start working to do it.
I was just so confused.
Yeah, that just
Hey.
doesn't make sense.
But
at
there
all.
are so many people like that. So that was an extreme. That made me laugh
Mm-hmm.
for a very long time. But then I see other things. Like I'll see a girlfriend who's, a lot of women are successful,
Right,
and that just
exactly.
creates a weird funk in relationships,
It
right?
does. It really does. And we
Absolutely.
need to talk about that because, do you think the structure of the family is changing?
Yeah, definitely. I think the structure of the family is changing,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the structure of the family should change.
Yes.
Because the world has changed. And back in the day when guys were, women weren't able to work as much, and guys worked one job for all of their career, and then they had
Right.
a golden parachute, and
That's
they were
right.
okay. Women could be taken care of again now. And were they really taken care of? Because again, we're still dying at 2 to 1.
That's right. and in
so
poverty,
I don't even know if we were taking care. Yeah.
and in
so-
poverty at the end of our lives, so that even if they were married in a traditional relationship and it lasted and that marriage seemed to be successful over the course of time, and that gentleman died and she's left in poverty after a year or two or however long, then he wasn't successful in setting her up and she wasn't asking the right questions.
She didn't know what to ask to.
Yeah, that's the
Sometimes
other
there's
thing.
that. Yeah. So I think
What
that
do we
the structure
have
has
is a
changed.
good question.
What do we
Honey?
have now?
Honey, what do
what
we
do we
have? Right? Like, what do we
Yeah.
have? Do you have an insurance policy?
You know what?
Do you have a 401k? Do you have medical insurance?
But you know what? Honestly, I think
How much
women
is owed
should
on our
handle it.
home?
Right, but women should handle
They
that.
should.
Women should handle it.
Absolutely. That way they're always in the know.
Yeah, and also
Absolutely.
men. Honestly, men aren't as good at it. Listen, I might have a little bit of hater, and it's not on purpose. It's just like
Don't worry, I still
foundation,
love you.
just real talk. Men aren't as good as money management as women are, And
No, because sometimes we can get excited and blow money, especially if we're gonna go out and have some fun, and it's like guys' night out. Oh yeah,
and we could do it too. But I'm exempting us from this conversation in the world of criticism. But but in terms of the women handling the finances, sometimes they didn't know, and now. Fast forward, you got women who are making like 3 times what their guys are making.
Yeah.
And they have all sorts of embarrassment around it. So I'll be like, okay, well, let's sit down and have a chit chat. And they're like, well, my husband has to, I got to wait for him to feel comfortable.
In having the conversation?
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm comfortable. I'm championing my wife if she's making more money than me.
But see,
for
that
sure.
brings up a
That
different-
means
But they
I
don't-
want a good Christmas gift, a good birthday gift,
But, see,
But they're
that
having a
brings-
good life. They're having a good life.
anniversary.
Right, but that
gift.
also brings up a different question. Where is the biggest disconnect and miscommunication? What age group is that? Because millennials don't seem to have a problem with it. Like they're like, sure, babe, I make 40,000, you make 80, great. You make 150, I make 90, great. They don't care. Like it's just like, so now we got like 200,000 to work with. What we doing? So
Got
it
it.
seems like
I think-
millennials don't have as big a problem with it.
I don't have a lot of millennial clients yet.
Okay.
I don't know what they are yet.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be honest. But I do know Generation Xers and I do know baby boomers. And
Yes.
Generation Xers, we're more in the space of the confusion because we're trying to like follow that traditional path of
From
the
the
baby
baby boomers
boomers
that
of
didn't
what we
work.
think. What we think was happening. Nobody really. It's like trying to guess what was on the other side of that. That door.
Right.
You're like, well, I think they were making decisions together.
Right.
I don't know. I never really asked anybody, but that's my assumption. I'm gonna go with it, and then I'm gonna base my whole life around it.
Right.
And then that's what we end up having. Because I can promise you, if you ask someone who had a successful future, or a successful financial situation, because my clients are baby boomers, and they're not both sitting in the financial planning meetings.
Okay.
They're not. There's always going to be that one alpha that takes it on and takes care of everything, And it's not that the other person doesn't know, but, partnership for me isn't where everyone's doing everything 50-50. A good partner does what they're good at.
That's right. That's right.
Right, absolutely.
And the other partner does what they're good at.
Absolutely.
You don't,
We can combine these strengths
Yeah.
together.
And it doesn't
Like, it's
necessarily
not-
have to be the same, and it doesn't have to be what people perceive as being traditionally.
'Cause that's not what
each
was traditional
should be
anyway.
good at. Right.
Yeah. So there's that part that's just frustrating. So then you have these women creating these imaginary rules based on this stuff that didn't exist to start.
Right.
And now I have somebody who's making 200,000 being told to do by someone who's making 30.
Oh wow, and that's piss poor planning.
Yeah,
It won't move until the person who's making 30
decides to come and be
And
a
they're
part
not.
of the decision-making process.
They're not, because there's a reason they're making 30.
Okay. That's a whole other conversation.
It's just
But I feel
real
like for that
talk.
you're gonna need to change your mindset.
Right.
Absolutely.
Or just be led. Like we have a saying in
Absolutely.
my business, lead, follow, or get out the way.
Yeah,
And sometimes in a marriage, you got to get out the way.
absolutely.
Oh, well, I want to come back and really talk about that. What did you say? Lead,
Follow, or get out the way.
Let's talk about that when we come back.
I'm gonna have to start telling more people that get out the way.
Lead, follow, or just get out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm Charline, and this is Lunch with the Finance Bunch, and we will be right back with more Serria.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And we're back on Lunch with the Finance Bunch on Dash Talk Radio. And LaDon, our videographer.
We got another special guest in the building, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
he's very passionate about this conversation. So we decided to bring him in so that he can be a part of the conversation. Okay, LaDon. So we're back and we're talking about, when we left off, we said you either follow, lead, or step aside, right?
Lead, follow, or get out the way.
Oh, wow. Okay, lead, follow, or get out of the way is what she
Jump in, but
said.
he's not getting out the way.
Lead, follow,
now-
or get out the way.
So now, LaDon had a question. LaDon, what was your question?
My question was based on even a girlfriend or boyfriend or married couple, if my wife or my girlfriend is already making $75,000 more than me, and let's just say I'm making 30, either construction, either way, that you come across and you say, hey, I would like to sit down and talk with you. But then she responds and say, hey, let me speak to my boyfriend or to my husband first, and then we can set up a meeting and come and sit down. And I think the issue, the part is why do she have to get the approval from the other man? And I think if it's a marriage, I'm just going to now speak on just marriage part.
Because that's
if it's
better,
marriage,
right?
Yeah, if it's marriage, I believe that I don't care how much money, she could be making millions of dollars. And just because he's making between 0 and 30,000, he's still the alpha, he's still the male and the husband in the house, that she should still go and respect and come to her husband to talk. Still doesn't mean that she doesn't have an authority, but I still feel that any woman should go to her husband before making any decision because it affects both of them.
And you're not wrong in that feeling. And that feeling is what has created women dying at a rate of 2 to 1.
But it doesn't mean that. But it
That
doesn't
poverty.
mean. But it doesn't mean that the fact
You're
that
not wrong though. A lot of
yeah.
people feel like that, and that feeling has created a bit of shackles up in this world because we're waiting, and then it's not happening because the thing that people forget is everything we have, we built it, right? Everything we have on our bodies, we built it. So if you're in shape, you built that in shape. If you're wealthy, you built that wealth, right? And what you know, because you're very buff, you know that being in shape is
Daddy
not.
weight.
But you know that being in shape is not just about going to the gym, is it?
Yeah.
It's about your eating habits. It's about your sleeping. It's about all the things that go along with that.
Right.
Poverty and wealth are no different. So it's not just so simple as come to the conversation. It's all that stuff that goes along with it that's going to keep him poor-minded. Just because you marry up doesn't mean that you've gotten there too. It just means you married up. You know what I mean?
So does a male that makes $30,000 has bad money management?
Yes.
Why is that?
It's bad. It's not bad money management. I don't know his money management, but if he's making 30,000, that's a poverty. That's a poverty mindset that goes along with that. We can be in the world of potential, like with a 23-year-old, but if it's a grown person and they're like an adult, there's no more potential. We are what we are right now, right? So if you're that, you're just that. And there's nothing bad. It might not be his priority. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I'm saying in a marriage, you got to let the person who's good at something do what they're good at.
So it's
right?
not necessarily.
But I think the confusing part for me is that statement that you make right there is because she makes $150,000 that she's good at because she got to that job and that position.
It's not an accident.
But you can
Your
still
body's
make
not an accident.
You can still make $100 million and still be bad at money management,
Right.
So, but what's the difference?
But you're good at making money. So a part of the good at making
you
money
can make
part.
money just like one of the Kim Kardashians by being part of the family.
That's true. But they're not accidental either.
That's right.
You can, if you know how to make money, you can lose it and be able to make it again.
Because
Whereas
you know
if
the
you're
road,
poverty
because your
mindset,
mind-
you're gonna lose and it's done.
Right.
Right. So there's different mindsets that I think you're discounting, right? And just because you're at 30,000 today doesn't mean you're at 30,000 forever. There are going to be people that are at 30,000 forever, right? And then there are people that are going to be 30,000 this year,
So what if they're
100,000
just
next
happy
year.
just because money is not a thing?
Which is
to them?
fine.
Which is fine.
Okay.
Right? But that's not stopping us from dying at 2 to 1. Right what I'm saying? So if your guy is happy at 30, which he probably is, right? If the woman's husband is happy at 30, which 9 times out of 10 he is, but she's not because she's intentionally creating her life to make more money. So all I'm saying is if you're creating your life to make more money, your duty should be to maximize that situation.
This is a great conversation.
What's happening on the
level up. Thank you, babe.
because what's on the other
I'm
side
just trying
of
to make sure.
what
some
you're
of my
not
brothers
getting.
and they okay. Like it's okay to make 30,000 and she making
Oh,
150.
it's not a matter of it
But
being
that's-
okay
but
or
I'm
not.
just
But
making
you see what
sure
I'm
that
saying?
I just wanted to make sure that even
You
if
respect me.
no, there's not a sense of respect. It's just the fact that I don't want the proclaim of a $30,000 male
Right.
is not money management because he's not just a go getter, go out. He might make 30 and be still watching the kids while she's an artist and making music and she's making 150,000.
But I don't
But
think-
he's still playing a part of doing something
That's
in the
not.
household.
Yeah,
That's not
and
That's not really the point. I think more of the point is she should not not make those decisions because he
Is uncomfortable?
Is not
So
comfortable.
what if
makes not
he's a
decisions.
felon?
So
But he's still
none
good
of that,
at money
none
management,
of
but he
it-
can't afford to get it. I'm being
Right,
because I
but
can
see,
give you true facts
here's
of
the
a
other
person
side of
like
that.
that.
If Serria is, let's say she is my money manager,
Mm-hmm.
and I make $200,000 a year, and my significant other makes $30,000 or $40,000 a year, should I wait for him to be comfortable with going and sitting down and having that meeting with her before I go have that meeting with her? Should I be comfortable if he doesn't want to have that meeting?
That's what I'm talking
Thank you.
about.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. And yes, but that is what happens every
I'm gonna play the
time.
middle ground.
Every time.
The way
Every
I feel,
time.
the
Every
way I
time.
feel is I don't care if you're a male or a female. You should still wait until your significant
I'm not
other
waiting.
is still over there.
I'm not
The
waiting.
man doesn't
Even
wait.
the husband,
The
even
man
the
don't
husband.
wait,
But I'm
though,
saying,
LaDon.
I'm a male, and I'm saying even a male should still wait.
But listen, okay, then let's take it to another situation. Let's say that this is your second wife and you have two beautiful kids by your first wife who's no longer here, and you're making $75,000 and your wife is making $75,000. And you need to plan. And she is just a spender. She loves Prada, Gucci, keeping up with the Kardashians, all that good stuff. But you got these two little bambinos. What, do you wait on her?
So what I do? No. So what
Yes
what
or
I
no?
would do? No.
Yes or no?
No, let me answer the question. So I'm going to answer the question.
Yes
so
or no?
what I would do is either two things. If we have a small conversation, meaning you're telling me what you want to tell me, the surface, but then any decision making, I don't make any decisions until she comes in aboard.
You're full of poo-poo.
Yeah,
I
believe
am not
that.
full of
You're
poo-poo.
full of
I'm
poo-poo.
dead serious.
Who's your priority to the kids or that wife?
My wife.
Nope. Your priority
My
to those
wife.
kids.
As a spiritual man, is my wife number one.
Your priority in the law is to those kids
This
because
is
that
worldly
wife
point of view,
can
but
can
spiritually,
divorce
my
you
wife
at
is
any
number one.
time. So you're not going to plan for your kid. And then this
I'm
is
not
what
saying
he
I'm
would
not,
do.
I'm
This
not
is-
saying I'm not playing for my kids.
That's
I
what
just
I'm
said
asking you.
We said male and woman.
So the wife doesn't
decision
want to
making-
plan.
This is your second wife.
This your second
It
wife,
doesn't-
and she doesn't
matter.
want to plan.
It doesn't matter.
She's not
From
planning.
From a spiritual point of view of the husband, my role is the wife number one.
So you're gonna wait for your wife to make the decision to sit down and have this conversation.
You
when
just-
your
To make a
child-
decision?
when
You
your
just
children's-
recruit. You did what my
To make a
girlfriend
de-
did. You
to make
just
a decision?
recruited someone to tell you what to do. You recruited someone
No,
to tell
no.
you what to do.
It's my wife.
Those are your kids.
and those are your kids.
That's fine. That's
They were
out-
your
it's
kids
not- it's-
before your wife.
So this is the difference though. When we vow to each other, that's our kids. It's not. It's just. It's my
Right.
kid.
But
When
because
you
it's
get
my
a
seed.
divorce, or she passes, or you get another wife who has other
If
kids.
I'm gonna
That's
vow,
no longer gonna
if
be
I'm
your
vowing
kid.
over
Right.
to my wife, my new wife, because my past wife either passed away, it's our kids.
Got it.
That's like a stepmother.
Understand, but this me talking. I'm not going to jeopardize the financial security of my children.
Period.
Because
You shouldn't.
someone else, my significant other, male or female, won't make
So then,
that
what is
decision.
the point? So what is the point of a husband and wife in a household?
Let me ask this question: if your significant other would be a woman at that point, and she's making $200,000-$300,000, and the man is making $40,000, in that marriage, as a woman, would you guys make him sign a prenup?
Matthew, that's a whole other conversation because you're into that. Matthew, I know your wife is going to sign a prenuptial agreement. That's not this
All
conversation.
right, we can jump
though.
back into what we're talking about. The only reason
Wow.
why I asked that is to show, like, I was trying to show him like where your real loyalty is, because
And so-
the woman
got
would
it.
be protecting them. The woman would be protecting the money, so she's gonna be doing the financial planning and thinking about the bigger picture. Versus
Right. Exactly.
what the man says.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So-
but this is
But
so.
we're just speaking on having a dialogue.
But that's
conversation
real
because
life.
You have some information.
But that's real life.
That's
that you
real
want to
life.
give. But I'm just saying, let's give me the surface conversation, and then I'm going to bring my wife in to have a full conversation, and we will make a decision.
You
right
know
then
what
and
I've
there
seen so many times.
for
I've
my
seen,
household, which is for the kids.
but let me tell you what I've seen, real life, what I've seen. And I take it you're single with no kids, correct?
No, I have 2 girls and I have a wife. That's
Okay,
a
got it.
stepmother.
Okay, that is the stepmother.
One of a stepmother of one.
Got it. So what I've seen, and it was hilarious. I had a situation where the guy and the woman were planning. They were not married, or was they? I can't remember. And he had kids, and she had no kids. No, she had one baby separate of him. He had 2, and she got her insurance, and she made him the beneficiary. And I was like, well, we should add your kid on there too. So she made the kid like 25%. He got life insurance, and his 2 kids were the beneficiary only. Now, of course, I don't share that with them, right? Because that's just ridiculous. But how many situations in the world are where
And that's what this
people
conversation is
are
about.
thinking that they're being taken care of,
Right.
and they're not, and they're taking. So what I'm saying, and then I had a girlfriend whose mom passed, and her mom left life insurance to the husband, thinking he was going to take care of her kid. Guess what he did?
Bought a new car, got a new girlfriend, and
He did
moved
not
on.
take care of that baby at all. She got nothing. So all I'm saying is this:
Turned
at
up,
the
popping
at
bottles.
the end of the day, right now,
VIP.
what's missing is people aren't planning. Period. They're
Period.
just not doing enough
Right.
planning. Period. And all of these excuses that families use, they just need to go out the window. And a lot of it is women led. You know, we're very comfortable opting out of the conversation, pretending like we don't know, acting like we're confused. You know, we're very good at that. We're good at it. We're the best.
because
and
it's
hurting us.
uncomfortable. It's hurting us because
And I also think it's based on tradition of men like
Right.
taking the lead for everything
Right.
and being like the alpha male. So it's like
exactly.
But now we're like recruiting alphas that aren't alphas. They're betas, sigma, thetas, omegas. You know?
So you know what? We're going to continue this conversation because this has gotten juicy. We added a whole nother dimension to it.
banging on the tables and everything.
Okay, this is Charline, Lunch with the Finance Bunch on Dash Talk Radio, and we'll be right back. Woo, this conversation has gotten juicy. This is Charline on Lunch with the Finance Bunch, and we're back in the studio, and we have Serria, who is our financial coach and business coach, and we're supposed to be talking about
Men and money. We
men
are,
and money.
though.
And girl, that thing got explosive in here with men and money.
All the men started raining from the ceiling. They were like,
Yes, and that's
Men,
what
we
we're
gotta
talking
unite.
they was like, you're attacking. They started coming in, out for the lines, ninjing
Okay.
down on us.
Egos
We're
were,
talking about our finances.
egos were flying.
Right?
I know you got egos flying across the
Yeah.
table. My goodness.
They're like phoning friends. Like, you heard what she said? Hey.
Hey, hold on, we gotta put you on speakerphone. Time it.
But you know what? It goes to what we said on break. Someone has to take control, and in my opinion, and it's not necessarily a male who needs to be in control or a female who needs to be in control. It needs to be the person who's going to make the best financial decisions for the family, period.
Yeah.
Genderless.
Yeah.
And who likes it?
And who likes
Yeah.
it and
You
who's
know?
going to do it. I have friends too who say, oh, and I mean, they're professional women. And they're saying, you know, I just don't want to, it makes my stomach upset when I talk about financial matters. What is going to make your stomach upset is if he dies, loses his job, or gets ill, and you can't take care of your family. How ill will you be then? So we have
How
to
sick
take
will
it
you be having
exactly.
to have a romantic relationship with somebody that
Exactly.
got some money?
You know, so that's what I'm saying. So the conversation really is, when you talk about men and money, it's because the dynamics in families have changed in a lot of cases, and there are women who are making as much money as men or more than men who are part of a family dynamic, and 50% of marriages end in divorce already.
Anyway.
So women are very conscious of the fact that if you introduce a conversation that might be uncomfortable, that it might cause tension in the family, and that's the last thing you need, right? So you're already making more money than him, right? And now you're bringing up the fact that we need to plan out the money that we are making. So
She's gonna take the lead.
and she's going to take the lead on that too. So some women, not all, some women are opting out. And that's what this conversation is about. It's like, on my side of it, I'm like, women, you can't opt out. So Serria is saying, you know, this is about men and money. And I'm saying it's about successful women who need to take charge, right? And not allow, whether it's a female spouse or a male spouse, to dictate and dominate a conversation that they're not qualified to make, when it's going to have an impact on everybody in that relationship, when you're basing it on just the fact that he's a man and I'm a woman. I just don't think that's right.
No.
Yeah.
And this goes to my future boo. If you make more money than me, I'm opting in, boo. I'm with you.
Matthew.
But see, but that goes back to the other question about our generation and the younger generation. to
Yeah,
come.
been a little different.
I think how a lot of stuff has changed is because we've seen our parents and our grandparents kind of really struggle
and fail.
And it either fail and some succeed. But I think the mindset now for us is if there's two people in the household either making the same amount, then we can power through it and it's just equal and we both can save whatever amount of money. And even if it's unbalanced, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but some people feel that somebody can take the lead of the financial role, but it's still collective as one in the household.
Exactly. And it's genderless in my mind. It doesn't have to be the man just because he's a male. Sometimes it should be the woman because she's better at it. And it's just that, and it doesn't take anything away. You know, it's funny, if a man is a better cook, it's okay. If a man cleans the house better, it's okay.
It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing.
It's the
no
same
different.
thing. It's no different. When you're talking about who does what job better, it should be genderless.
That's what a partnership is.
That's what a partnership is. And
it's not 50-50.
Exactly. It's who does what best. So why can't we just have the conversation around who does what best so that we can have life insurance, investments.
And the reason why we cannot is because poverty has a mindset.
Poverty has a mindset.
That wants to shut things down and keep it poor.
Yes, exactly. And that's what we're really talking about. I'm so glad we're coming back to harmony.
Yeah. And so I think the real conversation that people should have when they're even dating or getting to that place is, what do you think, like, what are your relationship to money?
Yes.
What's your relationship to money? Are you willing to grow in this money conversation? Because my real angst is that this average living is keeping us poor. Like, nobody's really pushing themselves. Nobody's stretching.
That's right.
And that financial part is the basic. Right? That's the basic. If we don't even understand what a stock and a mutual fund is, how are we going to buy that Subway sandwich shop? How are we going to buy that gas station? How are we going to buy that commercial real estate?
That's right.
We're not. Right? And then if our kids are lucky and we leave them a little bit of something,
what are they going to do with it?
How long will they have that? Because they weren't taught dog poo-poo about money.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
They might as well have won at Vegas or won a lottery.
That's right.
Because it will be gone just as
that
quick.
quickly.
So this conversation that I see, it's halted by guys and it's halted by the poor guys and the rich guys, unfortunately, LaDon. Like, I'm telling you about the women that make more, because really they should be the ones that are leading the conversation, because when the men make more, they lead the conversation. Right? And they shut it down too. I've had girls who are married to success. Oh, my husband would never meet with a financial advisor. My husband, he won't talk to you, girl.
Like, really?
I'm like wanting to take off shoes and start hurling them and like doing the TV choke. You know, I get so frustrated. I'm like, why do you think that's funny? Right, like, those are fighting words in my house. Those are take off your earrings. You're not trying to meet with who?
Right.
Boy, if you don't lead, follow, or get out the way.
Yeah.
That's right.
Get out the way so we can level up.
Because,
out the
realistically, I have seen literally families shattered because the woman in the relationship didn't know what was going on with finance. And I've seen it happen when the man was making more money because he didn't take the necessary steps. So it needs to be the person, right? It needs to be the person who's going to ensure that the family is safe. And I've just seen too many cases where the family isn't safe because nobody made the decision. And you're right, you leave money to kids, they don't know what to do with it. It is gone in 6 months to a year. Gone.
They have more friends.
They buy cars, they buy Gucci bags,
nonsense.
Just nonsense. Nothing that's going to help create and build wealth for their children. They just blow it.
I think the household should have a monthly statement checking it up.
Absolutely.
They should. They really should. A monthly
statement, a household
the guy who started my
absolutely.
The guy who started my brokerage, he and his family, they do weekly meetings and talk about their money. And the kids talk about their mutual funds. They show their statements at the table. They race.
Right.
But they have conversations about it.
And that's
We're not
healthy.
having enough conversations
That's
about
right.
it. And then this is the other thing too. So some of my smart women, they Google everything, right? And that's great, but also in the real world, we don't give out free information. So by default, anything you're Googling is already from some novice.
Right.
You know? And so they take it and they run with it, or they listen to financial experts who are pastors, who are motivational speakers, who are bakers, who are shoe shine people, who are clowns from the school. I mean, I don't know where half of these people come from,
Right.
but you know, they're like
They're not
quoting
speaking
people to me, and they're
Right.
like, "Well, I read such and such books." I'm like, "Did you research such and such? Do you know their background? What licenses do they have?" Like, if you want more information, you're gonna have to invest some time into the real place. That's what I love about my company. We actually have classes that real people who aren't from the finance world can come into and learn
listen
about
to
money.
and
And
learn
people
about
got to
money.
invest some time into that.
Right. It's as important to invest time in learning about financial things as it is
Anything.
Like she said, oxygen. I mean, your financial stability is as important as your breathing.
Yeah. And if you were wealthy, you would already know it
Right.
because your family taught it to you.
That's right.
You know, and we think we have a luxury of, oh, I'm going to learn it next year. Maybe. Or maybe you'll get into a car accident.
And did you have any of the insurances? Life insurance, health insurance? Do you have something to fall back on? Is your wife going to take over? Does she have to now carry the family financially? Can she carry the the family financially? And it's all because no one made a decision. If the answer to those questions are no, 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 oh my God, what are we going to do? It's because no one made the decision. And the sad thing that we're talking about today is, in a lot of cases, the woman was in a position to make that decision and she didn't, because she sat back and waited for a man to make the decision for her.
And you know what the sad reality is? This bores me.
Yeah.
Like, that whole conversation bores me. I don't want to talk about nobody's budgeting. And
Right.
to me, if we're talking about that, that means it's so basic.
Yes.
I'm like, and then what are you trying to invest in? And then what
Right.
family business are you trying to create? And
Right.
then what are you going to lead it to? And then can you
Yes.
put some money into your university? And what about, like,
Exactly.
that's the world we have to create. Like, let's start having our names on the side of some buildings at our, at our school. Getting some streets
Yes.
named after us. Contribute to LeBron's school.
Exactly.
Like, if we're talking
Yeah.
about this basic job saving bull poo poo,
Forever.
like it's
Yeah.
so boring. I get so upset.
Well, not only that, but that's not a level where you can change anything. That's not at a level
No,
where
and
you
it's
can
selfish.
create anything. And it's very selfish.
It's so selfish.
It is. It's very selfish.
Like, all you
Even
trying
when
to
you
do
say
is
that
get
out loud,
through.
though, people get mad at you.
Son of a poo poo.
Right.
You got this.
I like the son of a poo poo. Now, Serria, we talked extensively on the phone, and I just love you.
Thank you.
And I really want to get across what is your goal? Because we talked about that a lot. What is your goal? Here
I'm
we
so
go.
excited to share my goal.
What is your goal?
My goal in this world, in this lifetime, is to have 80% of America's own 80% of America. Right now, 2% of people own pretty much everything, right? And that's a choice. That's a choice, and we
Yes,
got to
it is.
unchoose that. And
That's
the way
right.
we're gonna unchoose that is we got to get out of this basic,
basic poverty
bull
thinking.
crap.
Yes.
Nope, no cuss words are coming from my mouth, but y'all can feel it in.
Feel the energy.
You can see the chill bump. Those are my profane words coming out. But we got to get from that. That's so
Yes.
basic. We need to be leaving money to universities. We need to be
Yes.
leaving money for our kids, grandkids' business. We need to be like taking it on a whole different level. I love that Jay-Z is talking about money. I love that LeBron is
Yes.
talking about education. We got to step it up, and we can't step it up if we're still crawling, working jobs and trying to be good employees. I get so frustrated that African American women are the most educated group in America, but if you look at any Forbes study, we're still the
yes.
lowest rank in financial
And when we
wealth.
allow other people to determine how much money we make, we only make $63 nationally, 63 cents on a dollar. And in California, we make 61 cents on a dollar.
Yeah.
So if we manage to get to a level of income where we can actually start to make an impression on our lives, our family
We need
lives,
to own.
and we need to own something.
Everyone
And
needs to own. Everyone.
Yes.
Black, white, purple, green, yellow. We all need
need
to
to
own.
own.
I don't care if you love your job and you're working for Google and you're making $500,000. Great. and have some commercial real estate.
That's right.
And have, something else. And have your family working there. I don't care. Have an internship for people. Like, we got to get out of this comfortable state.
If you was to hit the lottery, what would you do with it?
Ooh, how much though? LaDon, give me a number.
We just passed up what? $590-something million. Let's just say that. If you was to be that winner, what would you do?
Oh my God. So I have so many.
What you do is take care of the people at lunch with the finance bunch. So after you do that, what would you do?
So y'all know. So I thought about that one day because I was like, if I ever got a big chunk, I think I might go and have an island somewhere and just start a Wakanda.
That sounds good to me.
And it could be whoever wants to be there, but I would be on that Wakanda. Whoever wants to come, but it would be an aptitude test, an empathy test, a personality test, a skill test, a genetic test. Like, you will have to qualify, but that's where we would go, and we would create something beautiful and amazing because you see all those movies where we got to get taken over by the aliens in order to be peaceful. Why the alien got to go in my nose and my brain in order for me to not want to shoot nobody? Like, why I got to get there? Why can't we just be cool?
Exactly. You know what, Serria? This has been an amazing conversation. You have to come back.
Okay.
You have to come back, and we will definitely continue this conversation in another way, or continue it and take it to another level. And I just want you to let people know how they can get in contact with you.
Oh, yeah.
So that you can help coach them for, owning business and for financial coaching too. Lunch with the Finance Bunch is all about that. I support, entrepreneurs. And so I want to know how we can get in contact with you.
All right. So I think the easiest way, so again, my intention is to help business owners create successful businesses and also learn about money. And I have a company that supports me with that. And coming from my background in finance, I thought they were an amazing company because they're such a high caliber. And they actually don't separate education from the average person. Mm-hmm. So reach out to me. I would say reach out to me on Instagram. That would be the easiest. Yes. And I'm at Serria Says, and that's Serria Says. And I do, I am starting 2 groups where we're going to be going out and doing coaching to small business owners in different sectors.
I love that.
That's cool. We want everyone. If you have a degree, you're already the cream of the crop. You need to be owning.
That's right. Absolutely. That's right. That's right. Well, Serria, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Okay.
And I'm Charline, and that's Matthew over there.
God's gift,
and
baby.
LaDon got so emotional. He hopped into the conversation,
emotional.
Too. So we thank you for coming on.
Our surprise co-host for the day.
Our surprise co-host for the day.
No, it was good. I liked it. Thank you. You got all
Join
that.
us every Tuesday at noon on Dash Talk Radio, and thank you for listening. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Lunch with the Finance Bunch. I'm your host, Miss Charline, on Dash Talk Radio.
Tuesdays at noon, I'm God's gift.